What's up, folks? So I had this idea here on my Anki cards for some content that I could produce, which was about turning ChatGPT chat exports into a slide deck. And I want to try this out. I haven't tried it before, so we're gonna do it in the video. Let's see if it works. And I thought that would be cool. So first thing I gotta do is I'm gonna come here on my folder where I usually create these types of like small scale projects, and I'm gonna create something called ChatGPT export chat to slide deck. I don't know if a slide deck is the best, is the thing that I'm looking for. Is it slide deck? It's probably not slide deck. It's like I want to export a chat with ChatGPT into something that's useful. I mean, slide deck could be. Let's see. Let's see. I think maybe into Anki cards. Yeah, maybe like get a ChatGPT conversation that I had where there's like a lot of stuff that, I would like to encode and learn later, but I don't have the time or the patience to create the cards myself. So I wanted to have an automation where if I download the export from ChatGPT, I can just take that chat and turn it into a bunch of Anki cards. So I think that's cool enough. So let's try that. So I'm gonna say, yeah, so I'm gonna say chat export. Let's change that to move chat export to chat GPT chat to Anki cards. And what I'm going to do is ChatGPT chat. I'm going to go here and I'm going to open up VS Code and I'm going to make this big. And let's start a new notebook. For that, I need a new environment. So let's set that up. I have an automation to do that. So create content environment. This is going to be called ChatGPT. Actually, let's use my automations environment since this is supposed to be an automation that I want to use on the daily. So for that, I'm going to set up a notebook. This is going to be called ChatGPT chat to Anki cards.ipynb. Okay, that's pretty cool. Great. And now all I gotta do is go to ChatGPT and chat.openai.com. And I'm here. So I'm gonna just set up, I'm gonna get some random chat that I have with ChatGPT. Let's see. Okay, this one. Rhythms, flow state stuff. Yeah, embedding diagrams. Okay, this one is cool. So let's say that this one was the one that I wanted to export. So come here. Let's see. Here, chat. I think there's an export option somewhere in here. I hope. Come on, there's got to be an export. No, there isn't. Come on. 1 second. Let's see. Let's make this big. There you go. No, what? Come on. Okay, but if it's not here, where is it? Oh, flow? Share. The share is just, where is the export the chat feature? That's extremely annoying. I thought there was an easy export chat option. Apparently there isn't. Let me just confirm that by coming here. Control Shift I. No, Control this. Open focus, set, delete for shortcuts. Open new. Yeah, that's annoying. That's very annoying. Okay, so because I think that now I gotta go to my settings and just export everything, which is less than ideal. But whatever. Export data, I guess. God. All right. So I clicked on export data. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Did I get any exports? Export. Your account details shall be included. Data will be sent to your email. Download will expire. Processing may take some time. Okay. So I'm just gonna go to my email. I put the zip file. So I exported the thing to my local machine, and I have this gigantic zip file here. So I'm gonna unzip it. There we go. So I got all these files. So I have let's see if I can make this slightly bigger. So I have this chat.html file. I have this conversations.json, message feedback, model comparisons, chat conversations, and user.json. So let's investigate each of these JSON files separately. Let's take a look. Conversations. All right, so this is going to be huge. Okay. Okay, I guess this is just intern true. Okay, I think this is conversation, just metadata. Seems like, oh, no. Yeah, oh, maybe. Okay, this looks like metadata. Yeah, this looks a lot like metadata. Let me see. Okay, So message feedback.json. So message feedback also looks like stuff that I don't need. Model comparisons, shared conversations, user.json, message feedback. Okay. All right. All right. There's a bunch of shit. So let's see. To get the stuff that I need, let's open this chat.html. Live server. Okay. Let's see what's up with this. Okay, it's taking a while. This is probably a gigantic HTML file. No, no, it's just a random. Okay, this is. Ah, these are all the conversations as one big HTML. Okay, that's interesting. There you go. All right. So I can probably just come here. Let's see. Ah, this is interesting. So I have this big HTML with all the contents from the conversations. I think it's being rendered. Yeah, the HTML just kind of goes in, find a conversation in the yeah, and just renders them as this big HTML. This is nice because now it makes it very easy for me to find one conversation, I guess. Let me see, 4 to 5 zeros, top five. All right, so this is good because now I can come here and I can use this HTML. I'm gonna fetch some data from this HTML, like data from one conversation. And let's see, JSON data. JSON data. Okay, okay, title. And it has all the JSON data from the conversations have the titles of the thing. Okay, so the JSON data called conversation, the JSON file conversation JSON has the title of the conversation. So I'm going to use that to fetch one of the conversations directly from this HTML so that we can just copy paste, test the automation, and then when it works, we'll apply it to the conversations that I care about in this one. But the idea is that I can do that in the future for any conversation that I download. So all I need to do here is I'm going to import JSON. Let's see if I have JSON on this kernel. Automations. Hopefully I do. Let's see. Connecting. Come on, let's go. Let's go. There you go. And now I need to load and print out the conversation title. All right, so that's what I'm going to do now. Let me make VS Code big now because now we don't need the information from the HTML. So I'm going to say, okay, let's load the conversations.json file and print out the values from the title key. I think it's title. Let's take a look. Is it? Yeah, it's title. Perfect. So let's do that. Right. Thank you very much, GitHub Copilot. I appreciate that. Let's print just like the first 10 conversations, the last 10. Okay. There you go. So these are the last 10. Interact with images model, new chat, automate this, automate that. Okay, perfect. Let's get conversation number, I don't know, 50. AI for human augmentation. That's a perfect one. So that's what I want. This is the conversation I want. So I'm going to go to the HTML here because I think this is a faster solution. I'm just going to do Control F on this one. There you go. So we have the conversation here, as you folks can see. I'm just going to copy that manually for now. Yeah, because I think this has the entire conversation. This was a quick conversation. Working on, post the following, etc., etc. Yeah, it has some information. Explore the fabric frame. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, so this is the first conversation. So this is the AI augmentation conversation is equal to, and I'm gonna make it as a big string for now, because I just want to test it in the content itself, and then we'll think about the problem of making this more programmatic, like loading the contents from each conversation correctly, etc. And I also want this second conversation about automations with GitHub Actions, because that might be interesting. So let's fetch all the data from this conversation. GitHub automation tools, also that, because I'm interested in that. So I would want to have AI personal productivity course. No. Okay, perfect. So I have this conversation. GitHub automations conversation. Yeah, perfect. So I have two conversations. Okay. So I'm going to say that conversations is equal to this. Perfect. Thank you. So now we have these two conversations that we can work on. All right. So what are we going to do? Well, we are going to load and run some prompts. Okay, so for now we're going to need ChatGPT. So I have ChatGPT here. I'm going to be using ChatGPT 3.5. Yeah, I'm going to use ChatGPT 3.5 first. If that works, perfect. If it doesn't, we'll try something else. Okay. And we will assume, at least for the first test, that we can fit the entire conversation in the context length of the model. However, for us to assume that, we're going to need to do we're going to have to check the size of the conversation first. So we're going to write a function called check size, check token size of conversation. That's a terrible function. Conversation as a string, and what we're going to return is an int. Yeah, perfect. So token size is going to be length conversation dot split. No, we're going to use tick token to get the conversation size. I might have something to do. Let's see, token, no, OpenAI, text to speech. Also, no, we need to be able to tick token. I do have a gist, open a gist. I'm gonna say tick token. No, token. Calculate number of tokens. Perfect. Thank you very much. And since I like this one, let's create a snippet for this one. AI tools. I'm gonna come here. This is what I always do to set up an automation now. I used to use Gist a lot, but now I use more VS Code snippets. I don't know which one is the best. It's probably a better way to do this, but whatever. It's fine. There we go. I'm gonna put something else here, and I just paste the code, and then I come here and I say convert this selection into a VS Code snippet with the prefix OpenAI, sorry, tick token count, something like that. And then there you go. GitHub Copilot just transforms that into a snippet. This is not perfect, I think, but it's good enough for me right now. So it's fine. Okay, it's perfect. Cool, cool, cool. Love it. Like it. And now we just test it real quick. I just come here and I say tick token. Nope, we don't have access to it, so there's something wrong with it. Let's see. That's because when we create one, we close it on the little red thing, and then we open a new one. Is that it? So this thing should be, what's the shoot? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, there you go. Close it, we open, we close it. But when we close it, we don't open a new one. There you go. That's why this thing's not working. This is what we do, and this thing should go a bit backwards as well. There we go. Let's see if we can use it now. Tick token. Nope, still can't use it. Tick token. Nope. So tick token, this, tick token, that. So we don't have to do this and this or this. And now this should work. Tick, took, there you go. Now we can access the snippet. That's what I like. Don't save anything. Beautiful. Now I can come here and I can check the token size. I just need the tick token package for that, which should be available. If it's not, I will install it. No, but it is, so perfect. Okay, so now for that, for the model, I'm just gonna put here model, and the model is going to be the same model that I use here. So here I'm gonna say model name. I'm gonna put here model name, and for that, I will set up model name like this, I guess. Okay, like this. There you go. And that should be good enough because then I can do this get number of tokens, hello, and then model is equal to model name. Let's see if that works. Yes, it does. And that's probably correct. Hello, my name is Lucas. Beautiful. All right, 5 tokens? Seriously? All right. All right. Okay. So now that we have that, we can move on. So now that that's working, we can move on and we can set up our prompt. So our prompt is going to be something like this. Prompt Anki conversation. It's going to be something like, take this conversation with an AI model and turn it into a set of Anki flashcards, encoding all the relevant concrete information present in it, taking into account the following requirements. And then this is going to be user requirements for the prompt. It's going to be something that I will set up every time I want to use it because I want to make this prompt reusable, right? So user requirements is going to be something like, maybe this time I want the thing to be focused on Ankify all the facts, Ankify all the math, Ankify whatever. I guess that would be cool and useful to have. The output format should be, and we're going to organize it like this. And we're going to say something like front, back. For example, nope. We can say, we can give it an example of, we just have to look at the text here, like actionable steps could include identify, yeah. Okay, so let's take this and let's create a card out of that to do a little bit of a few shot example for the model to make it easy to understand. For example, input text, actionable steps could include, input text could be this, output would be something like actionable steps, but I need context for actionable steps about what? Okay, so this is, let's take, yeah, okay, let's take this entire section of the conversation. So this would be the input text, or an example at least. And let's create some cards out of that. So master, the repo contains a project name Fabric, which is involved in system configuration management, some automation. It's not related to project listing here, blah, blah, blah. If you're working, because that I was trying to relate this GitHub repo to some projects that I was working on. Provide insights, tools for automated task management configuration of your system, exploring the repo that identifies scripts, which is involved in system configuration management, similar automation tasks. So there's like who created the Fabric, yeah. Okay, so there is some information in this one. Like one example would be something like, so it's involved in system configuration management and system automation, actionable steps. I don't like this piece of text because it's a bit too that general. Let's take another one. Perfect. This one is perfect. Something like this input from ChatGPT. Yeah. So for example, input text, ChatGPT needs storage, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, actionable steps. So it could be something like this. Yeah. And the output would be, yeah, I can put like this. Actionable steps. And then the output would be all of this text. Yeah. Something of that sort. And since this is a, yeah, I would have to put like a N to represent the skipping of the line so that the model knows that I want organized text, not just a mess. So I'm gonna say something like this. This is perfect. This is a perfect example. I think that this is good enough for now. And the model sees that this is the divider of front and back, which is important in Anki for importing the card. So I like that. We're going to keep it to this. And I think that this prompt is good enough. Take into account the following requirements. Yeah, and let's set up some basic requirements. The requirements are going to be, let's say, focus on the main information that would be important to encode, to memorize and encode. Ignore small scale factuals. Something like that. Something silly like that. All right. So I feel like that's our official prompt. And we could try it and we can see what happens. Get response. We're going to prompt that model. We're going to try with GPT 2.5 first. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll try something else. All right. So we're going to get the response from the model, and then we're going to print it, print response, and let's see what happens. All right, beautiful. Okay, that's a bit confusing. That is because I didn't input the conversation, of course. So take this conversation with an AI model. So we got to actually put the conversation in the thing, right? And that should be an input that we give it when we use the prompt, right? So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed in the conversation example. So I'm going to say conversation is equal to conversation 0 because conversations is this thing right here that actually I'm going to put over here after the helper function so I don't get confused, as well as the big conversations from here, which are going to move to that other location, which is right here. Thank you very much. So we got all these two conversations, the GitHub one, and I don't know where the other one is. Oh, what have I done? There you go. It's here. Perfect. There you go. And now just put them in both in the same place. Perfect. So now we have these two conversations that we can use to test our prompt and see if our prompt is working well. Okay. And yeah, the conversation is going to be this. We're going to take the first one, which is about AI augmentation, and we're going to see how many Anki cards we get, in the quality of those cards. So now let's make sure. Yeah. And to do that, the example I'm going to say is like input conversation. So now input conversation is going to be conversation. And this conversation is the first one in the conversation list. Yeah, I think this is fine. Let's see if this works. So now let's see. Yeah. And I didn't specify that I wanted multiple Anki cards. Hopefully the model will figure that out by itself. Okay. This is not great at all because the conversation wasn't about that topic. For example, input conversation sample. Yeah, the model is not identifying that at all. I'm not even gonna insist on that. This is clearly a model name type of thing. This is a model capability. So I'm just gonna go GPT-4 Turbo. This is gonna be the model that we're gonna use. And let's try that again because the model has to be able to identify the conversation correctly, etc. GPT-4 Turbo does not exist. So I never remember the names of the models. GPT-4 Turbo, like this maybe. I don't know. Here, response. Nope, that's not the name. Is it like GPT-4 Turbo? Maybe preview? Yeah, preview. That's the name. Okay, perfect. So yeah, GPT-4 Turbo Preview. That's the model. So let's go back down again. Now we have it all, and now we can run. Perfect. Now we're running our prompt to do the Ankification, right? Create an Anki cards from that conversation. Let's see if that works well. And it does not. Oh no, now it has relevant stuff. Right. Right. So here has stuff about home server. That's weird. And because I just wanted to give, here is an input conversation sample. Here is an output sample with just one Anki card. Input conversation. And now let's say output. Okay, hopefully that will solve it. Let's try that again because I don't want the model to be giving me Anki cards about stuff that was in the prompt just as an example, right? So that's what I'm trying to fix here. So let's see if that works. Apparently it did. Yes. Home improvements. Yeah, this is perfect. This is what I was going for. Look at that. So all the cards is different lines, perfectly organized. Actionable steps for building a home server. Okay, so that's annoying because that's not what it was supposed to be there. But most of it is like stuff that was in the actual conversation. Because if you go back to this first conversation, it's about augmentation stuff. Oh no, it actually does have information about the home server, so that's fine. Okay, okay, got it. So this is actually relevant to that piece of conversation. Okay, so maybe I even misjudged the output from GPT 3.5, but I really like this output. Look at that. All of these lines with the comma, I forgot the colon. Is it colon? I think it's colon. Yeah. So this is, I like this very much. So let's try with the other conversation. Yeah, and let's turn this prompt into a little function, right? Maybe? Yeah. Let's try this prompt again with the second conversation. And to that, let's turn this prompt into a function. So yeah, return prompt to Anki conversation. I give it the conversation, the requirements, and it returns this prompt. Yeah, I could be using, I don't know, LangChain or something like that, but I prefer to do it like this. Return some huge thing. That's horrible. That's terrible. Let's do it like this, maybe. Still not pretty, but whatever. I don't want to just set up LangChain just so I can use prompt template. I'm perfectly able to use this thing like this. Return prompt Anki conversation. Okay. Yeah. No, this should not be called return. It should be called just prompt Anki conversation. I give it a conversation, the user requirements. That's perfect. Because now I can say here, conversation user requirements. The user requirements remain the same, but the conversation is going to be the other conversation in the list. So yeah, and prompt if is not returned. Prompt, I can say like prompt Anki file is equal to this. Prompt Anki file conversation not returned. It's weird. It is. It's right here. Perfect. And now I can come here. I can say this, and then I can say response equal to get response. Prompt Anki file model name. Now we can try it out. And we'll print the response. I don't have to write it like this. Actually, what I prefer is like this. Markdown response. Yeah, I just from my Python.display import markdown. There we go. And look at that. Yeah, I dig it. Although it seems like it's using the wrong one. This is old stuff, so I'm a bit confused because the conversation seems to be, let's see, let's print the conversation, markdown conversation. Yeah, so the conversation is about a bunch of stuff regarding GitHub, key research, NAS, workflows and automations, explore. Oh, no, that's correct. It has stuff. That's annoying. Okay. So it has stuff. Omnipilot features, the home server. Both have stuff about building a home server. That's weird. Okay. Let me just see one thing here. Conversations. This is the list. Yeah. The length of this list is 2, right? Perfect. Okay. So, I mean, in practice, we do have, let's see, if I go here and I see the response, it does create the cards the way that I kind of wanted, which is with the column from the front, like you see here. Yeah, and it's not, I don't completely love this thing, but I would like to test if I can import this to Anki. So let's take this output, let's copy it. Let's actually just, yeah, with, there's an easier way. So we can say write file, convert, no, Anki cards test.txt, and I can just copy that, write this thing, and maybe mark down response. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it like this. Let's see. Anki cards. No, I can't. I have to put the actual test, the actual content from the response variable. So I'm just going to take this from the print, and I'm just going to put that here. And let's save that. And then Anki Cards now has that stuff. So now let's see if that stuff is importable to Anki. I'm going to go to Anki. I'm going to go Control I, Command I. Come on, Control Shift I. Okay, Control Shift I. All right. So now I'm going to go to where I am right now. So content, ChatGPT to Anki Cards. These cards. Let's see if we created the cards correctly. Okay, so the first one, no. Project tag actionables list, but then build a home server sims semicolon. So the name of the thing is semicolon. Yeah, I always forget the name of this thing. I don't know why. So how many? It doesn't seem to have gotten the cards correctly. Let's say import. It said 21 nodes found. Let's see those notes. That's wrong. That's a wrong note. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Wrong. So it did not create the cards correctly like I wanted them. So that is bad. So I'm just gonna delete those. I'm just gonna delete these. There you go. Thank you. And I hope these were deleted. Okay, so this was not enough, but maybe the way that I printed them was kind of wrong. So let's just say response. Yeah, let's just say with open Anki cards test.txt as f dot write response. Okay, perfect. And let's see, project tag actionables list. That doesn't make any sense. Build a home server, tarari tarara. Okay, let's try importing this and let's see what happens. Control Shift I, Anki cards test, and that's bad. So only the first one has the correct thing. Okay, No, that's wrong. That's very wrong. That's not what I was going for. So, yeah, and the fact that it did in bullet lists also does not help. And the cards have to be smaller. But maybe the example that I gave was not the ideal example. Because the example that I gave did kind of create this skipping of the lines, which is not ideal for these types of files. So maybe we got to go back to the example in the prompt and kind of think about how we can make it better. Let's just clear the converse, clear all the outputs so that we can navigate our notebook a little bit better. Yeah, so here, this example that I gave was bad. So here's what we're going to do. This was the, is it an input conversation sample? Is it an output conversation sample? Yeah. So actionable steps for build a home server. These would be just the research NAS solutions, understand NAS functionality. Yeah, understand NAS functionality. Assess. So I'm going to create better examples for each of these things. Explore security features. Blend the setup process. There you go. And then this is next line. So next line would be like, for example, what is research NAS solutions? And research NAS solutions describe the process of researching NAS solutions. Investigate, there you go. Describe the process of understand, there you go. There you go, GitHub Copilot already got it. Thank you, GitHub Copilot. That's what I'm talking about. Perfect. So these are better Anki cards, better examples for the model itself, right? So let's see if with this prompt we can get what we need. So now I'm gonna set up this function and I improve the prompt. And I'm just gonna come here and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna create the prompt and we're gonna run the markdown to output the conversation, right? No, it's the conversation, sorry. So that's not what I wanted. I want to see the response. So let's see the response now. Now that looks much better. That looks much better. So now I'm gonna write that to file. So I'm just gonna come here. I'm gonna write that to file, and we're gonna import it to Anki, and let's see what happens. I'm gonna get these cards, and yes, folks, I think that we have it. So let's preview some stuff. Can we preview stuff? Yeah, semicolon, etc., etc. Ta-da-dee-ta-da-da. Yeah, so the first one, it got the triple quote stuff that we can always remove. But if we go to import, and now we show these actionable steps. Oh, that's bad. Okay, that's also bad. Where is the back part? Ah, come on. Why is it getting it incorrectly? I don't get it. Why are the outputs of the back part not here? I don't understand it. Doesn't make any sense. That's very, very annoying. Because the outputs are here. Like, yeah, see this thing, they're here. It's correct. Actionable steps, and then afterwards the correct thing. And if I go to this file, it's perfect. Maybe it was this thing. So let's see if this was the only issue. If this was the issue, we can always try to fix it. Let's say we're going to Shift I. We're going to load that again. Okay, great. That looks good. Front, back, yes. Show. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Yes. Folks, we did it. As you can see, we've successfully created the cards. They all have the right front and back parts. So I'm very satisfied with that for this particular moment, because now I can turn any conversation that I have with ChatGPT, I can just export it, fetch the string of it, or maybe I'll set up something directly in the JSON file and use this prompt that I wrote to transform them into Anki cards, which is super neat. And then I can iterate on the quality of those cards and stuff. I think it's a cool way because you can have a chat with ChatGPT and learn a bunch of stuff on the conversation, but you're going to forget. So this is a way of not forgetting that, because you just export the conversation as a bunch of cards and then you review them, and then you can just remove the ones that you think are like redundant or whatever, or maybe irrelevant, etc. So yeah, super simple, quick script, something I can just set up on my machine as a CLI tool maybe. And that's it. Hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Cheers.